What's up? How's things going? Okay, I have actually made quite a bit of progress on these little guys. Uh, Sorry I keep publishing videos in the middle of the night, but I've gotten back on my weird schedule, I think. Well, I'm trying not to, but anyway, and in case anybody is wondering, the big journals, the journals that people bought, they did actually get shipped. I printed the shipping labels prematurely, so I was waiting for my flat rate padded envelopes in the mail from the post office, and yeah, so they took forever to get here. They take a long time sometimes, and I didn't even realize that I was out of them. So I apologize for the shipping delay on that last series of journals, but they did actually get picked up this morning, and so they are out and on their way to you. And most of them went priority mail, so you should have them, Tuesday or something. Okay, so here we are. I guess I'm not really calling this little series a tutorial. I guess it's just kind of like sort of just checking in as I'm progressing through making this series, just because I have a lot of people that comment and want to know like how it is that I do, I make 18, 20 journals at one time. So and to be honest, I'll explain again why I do that, and there's a bunch of different reasons, but one of the reasons that I do it is because I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is all I do. Like I don't have another full-time job or any other form of income. And so this is what I do for a living. And so in order for me to sort of maximize the amount of time that I'm spending creating something, which I love doing, and like going to work every day is like going on vacation, but yeah, just in case, you didn't know that, I just, thought I would mention it, but this is my job. So, and I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't, I wouldn't have this job anyway, if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you very much for all of your support. I really, really, really do appreciate it. So when I say that, I really mean it. Okay. So anyway, so I have 19 of these that are basically all at the same stage, and I'll show you what I've done. So I I went through this whole thing about how I didn't know where I was going to put the book plates, and that I needed to put the book plates on this quadrant or this section of the cover. Well, I accidentally glued the pockets in that I kept saying I couldn't glue the pockets in yet because I had to put the book plates on and blah, blah, blah. Well, I wound up gluing them all in anyways. And then I had those book plates sitting there and I was like, oh my God. Okay. So I put all the book plates on this flap, except for I think one. Anyway, but I like it anyways. I do like them there. And that was kind of like my first feeling anyway, was to put the book plates on this little cover. So anyway, so that's where they wound up. Most of them are in this lower, well, about half of them are on the bottom half and half are up on the top. Yeah. So anyway, so I got the book plates all put on, and I did put them on with eyelets. I showed you guys how I do that on the previous video. And then on each one of the covers, I just added some kind of a little label. Some of them a very tiny little label. And these are all labels that I stamped onto different papers and stuff. And some I stamped onto some of the collages and, cut those out. I will tell you a red that I really, really like is the, oh my God, what is it? It's not exactly the same color as the Denison labels, but it's a beautiful red, and it's really, really rich. It's slightly pinkish, but it's a really, really deep red color, and I really, really like it. So it's the Stays On Blazing Red, and yeah, so if you're looking for a really nice red, which is what this is, it's not orangey at all. I can't stand that orangey red. I like it a lot better than the Memento Morocco red, and then there's another red that I have that I don't really like either. I have an archival red on the way. I haven't gotten it yet. And I know there's tons of reds, but I just wanted you to know that this is that blazing red that Stays On. So anyway, it's a cool red. You can see it's a little different than that. It's a little more purpley red, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so I wound up doing just a little tiny label on the front, and then I did finish my stitching. Okay, so I did the rest of the stitching that I wanted to do on each of the covers. Okay, so I stitched up and down on this side, and then on some of them I just went ahead and went up that way too. Kind of framed this in again to stitch in this back pocket. And then on most of them I also ran another stitch along this side of that front flap. Okay, and then I guess some of them I also ran one on this side. I didn't do it on all of them, but I did on most of them. So okay, so I just kind of did a little bit of additional stitching. And then I put in my eyelets for the, oh, now I have red ink all over me. I did the eyelets for the closure. I decided to just do a seam binding closure because it's flexible, and you know it can be wrapped around like 3 times. If you get this fat enough, you may only need to be able to, you might only be able to wrap it around twice, and then in that case you can move the little key. I just put like an old brass key on the end of each one just to give you something to tuck in. And then I set the eyelet here for my little charm, whatever I decide to do. I think I have a good idea though. And then I decided I'm going to do them all with elastic. I know I said I was going to bind them, but I'm just going to do them all with elastic because I didn't think I had enough elastic to do all of them, but I found another roll of it. So I decided to do that, and I'm glad that I did. I actually had a couple people saying, could you please make one for me with elastic? So I was like, okay, you talked me into it. Actually did. I had like 3 people ask me that. So I'm glad I decided to do that. So in case you're wondering about how to put that in, so basically I just do 2 eyelets at the bottom next to each other. If you have a wide enough spine, you can do them next to each other, and then 2 on the top. And so then what you do is you go in through the right, and then back up through the left, all the way up, down through the left, back up or behind, and then back up through the right, and then you tie your 2 pieces on that side. So you get 2 little bands that you can slide your inserts into. And then I just did a very simple little notebook, kind of like a junky notebook. This is the craft paper that I got from Renee. So I just had I had a perfect amount to do all of these. So thank you for that, Renee. And then I just used some, these are actual, pages from some of the stuff that I got from Louise. And so is this one. I love this paper. It's so cool. It's got a really neat texture. So it's all French stuff. Obviously the grid paper is not, and then I did print out some of my collage bases and added some of those in here. And then, just different papers. This is another one of the collage bases. And I'm hoping that I can get those listed here pretty soon. And then some of the French ledger. And I Googled this to see what that means. And I think it means must have. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, and there's a little bit of writing on these, and you know, so just kind of fun. It's not real thick, you know, it's maybe 20 pages in there or something, 20 pieces. So that way, you know, whoever winds up with these journals, they can decide if they want the journal in the back or in the front. And then I don't have to make that decision for anybody. Since I did want to put an envelope in the center of the signature, that still works even with an insert. I just push it over to one side and then slide it in like that. Okay. So, you know, you could actually add a couple more booklets in here if you wanted to, if they weren't super thick. You know, you would just add a rubber band around 2 of them, and then you would split this open and slide the whole thing underneath. There's all kinds of videos about how to add additional inserts into like a traveler's notebook. So, but yeah, you could add a bunch more in here if you wanted to. And I'm going to do like a flip through on them and stuff before I list them anyways. But yeah, so I just added a few labels. I didn't do a ton. I did add some tabs. And I had some butterflies that I had punched out, so I just added a butterfly on these, and I did the magnets on these. And I trimmed these open. I just cut these open. I'm not going to do a notch in them. Notched all of those. Did a little tab and a magnet on that side. I glued in the pockets where I decided to put them. And this one wound up here. Added a label. I notched all of these pockets, and then there's the notebook. Okay, so that's where I've got to. So now I need some kind of charm or something. I want to put something there. I don't want to make it super complicated or you know, messy. Not messy, but you know, I just want it to be a very simple charm. So what I decided to do, I have these price tags. These were from a shoe store, and they're really cool. They're hand painted. The numbers are actually kind of raised. You know, the paint is real thick. But these are super, super old, and they have these little pins on the back. I got these from Louise at Forever French also. And I totally forgot that I had them. But anyways, they have these little pins in the back with this little pin, and then that would just hook onto the boot or the shoelace or whatever, you know, like that. So I just pulled all of these little guys off, and then I scanned these. I glued them temporarily onto a piece of board like this, and then I scanned them and then printed them off. And I think they turned out pretty cool. Like, I'm pretty happy with the way the scanner picked up the color, and actually you can see a lot more kind of like distressing and stuff in them than what I think you can even see. So that's pretty cool. I like the way these came out. So then I just glued them onto some heavy chipboard, and then trimmed them out, and then just did rounded the corners. I did some distressing with my handy little sandpaper, and then inked around the edges. So I'm just going to add a little eyelet in each one of these, and then I'll just put 2 of these on the cover of each journal with a little ball chain. Okay, so that'll be my charm on these. Okay, but what we need are tags, and we need to fill these guys with something. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to do some very simple collages on some more of this paper and cut those up and make tags out of them. I did have somebody ask me about where these came from, these pieces, and I don't have any more of the exact ones still intact because I cut them all apart. But this was the color of the original file folder. They're actually like a medical file, record keeping file folder, you know. So I had a whole box of them, and so I disassembled all of them because each one had 3 of these pages in it. Okay, so they were, you know, like that. There was, you know, 3 tabs, and then the covers all had these on them. So I cut those off, trimmed this part off, and trimmed off the tabs. So I just have these nice, clean, like basic size pieces to use for a future project. And then I cut these out. So I cut these out of those maroon colored ones. So I still have a bunch of these green ones. I've got some green ones. I have some, and then 2 different shades of blue, like a powder blue and then like a baby blue. So I don't know. I'll probably use them for something in the future, but I really wanted this piece, and I got more bang for my buck by taking apart the maroon one since they had 3 of these in it. So anyway, I just mentioned that I would show that to you guys. So I think I'm going to do some collaging on these because I love this paper, and it's really cool that you can still write on it, and it's a neat color, and it still kind of stays in the theme of what the journals are. But I thought I would use some of my my old manila folders too, and, you know, do some on these. These actually came out of, I think, out of my son's filing cabinet at work. But yeah, so I thought I would do that and just make a few of those on camera. I do have this stack too. This is the these are the like collage bases that I did with just the like plain paper, you know, that I also scanned. Okay. Anyway, so I had used these to do the pockets in the back of the journals, and so I have all these pieces left. So I'll probably cut these up and trim them down to, like, you know, tag size pieces, and use some of this too. Okay. So what else? You guys have seen this a million times. Just the collaging, but I know it's fun. It's fun to watch. I love watching people collage and play with paper, you know. So I pulled out a couple of my little French dictionaries, and I thought I'd grab some pages out of those. I know they're the same size, but the text is a little bit different. And then this one is a really old one. Really super old. And it's also illustrated, so that's cool. Some pages from that one. And this is kind of like my bag of smaller collage, like, fodder. I'll just pull some stuff out of there now and then. And then I've got the flower book that you wouldn't believe how many people have asked me if I would make a journal out of this and if they could call dibs on it. And I just think it's, I think it's funny because I predicted that. I knew that was going to happen. So it'll probably be about a year before I make a journal out of it. But isn't it cool? I know, I just love it. I might just make a journal for myself with it, you know. And I haven't pulled out any of the color pages yet, any of the color plates, just because, I don't know, I just haven't. Kind of like having them in there for now. And then these are just some other book pages from one of those red French books that I got from Louise. So I'm thinking I might just do these with mostly printed text. That might be kind of cool. Let's see what else I have. So this one, this ledger has some cool printed matter in the front. Let's pull some of that out. Whoops. Oops. Okay, that one. And I don't know if this one does. I don't think this one has any printed stuff in it. It does have some other little goodies in there, though. Okay, and this one is the notary. I should probably just cut these apart in signatures, but a couple pages from this one. I like that orange. All right, that's enough out of that one. And then there's this one. This one's not as old as a lot of those other ones, but still has really cool aging on the pages and stuff. And these are all glued in pages, so they rip out pretty easy. Whoops. I love this book. Let's see. And then there's these are all those book blocks from the minis. Pull some of those because they have a nice, look at how nicely those are aged. And all this stuff is crumbling. And then this is a French textbook. Okay, I don't want too many of these, but and then I just got this a couple days ago. It's actually a German French dictionary. And it's like, oh my God, it's super old. It's like, yeah, 1807. And here I am just ripping pages out of it. But yeah, I like it. It's so cool. And the paper is so yummy. It's like really textural, and I just love the color, you know. It's just yummy. So I'm thinking about, I have a couple other ledgers that I am waiting on, French ledgers. And so when those come, I am going to do some, sorry, I got to get some of the stuff out of the way. I am going to do some page packs. So I will include some of that stuff, some of that dictionary, some of this dictionary in those. So yeah. Okay. So that's enough to work with. I don't know. I kind of like to do that on camera, just, you know, pulling stuff, just because, I don't know, I think it's fun. And so you guys can see where I'm getting things from too. So this is mostly all just printed text that I'm going to work with. And a lot of different variety in the fonts and textures and tones and weight of paper and stuff, you know. So yeah, so it should be nice. And this is I'm just seriously, like, I just want to make these very simple tags to put into these journals so that a person could, you know, maybe glue an image onto it or something, instead of having the tag be like extremely decorative in itself. Like I'm thinking I want the owner of the journal to do that themselves, you know. Like, I like to just kind of think of it as a canvas or an inspiration, you know. That's what I kind of like my journals to be, is more of like a jumping off point for people. Somebody else said that in a comment one day, and that's really what it is. And that's what I like to do. And I don't know, sometimes I like to really embellish things and make them finished pieces, so to speak. But sometimes I like to just, you know, go very understated. I love that. Look at the back of that. Isn't that awesome? So let's see. And, you know, just, I'm going to do these with relatively large pieces. And, you know, because I'm thinking I want the tags to be somewhere around like maybe 3 by 6 inches or something, a little shorter than the actual journals are. And I want them to fit into the pockets. So I'm just using like the same page and just kind of tearing it into a few pieces, turning it a couple different directions. And then it, you know, doesn't even really look like it came from the same book, you know. So I want to use something a little bit more contrasty. Let's put that one like that right here. You guys see what I'm doing? I hope so. So I have decided that I am going to start. I have not really been going anywhere, you know. I mean, which in a way kind of sucks, because I haven't been going to to the bookstore and stuff, or the thrift stores or anything either. You know, because most of those things are closed, but they're going to start opening up pretty soon, I think. And I really want to just not be freaked out, you know? So I've decided that I am going to either make a few masks or, you know, maybe buy them or something. So that I don't worry, you know? And I mean, I went to pick up groceries at the store today, and because I've just been ordering like curbside pickup for my groceries, like on a weekly basis lately. And I don't know, like I just don't want to go in the store, you know? It just seems to me like there's just a gazillion people in there, and there's no reason for me to go in if I can just have them bring my groceries outside, you know? So anyway, are any of you guys doing that? You know, I try to get stuff on, you know, Prime Pantry too, but actually, I tore this one a little weird. But it's like, I don't know, sometimes like I don't want a whole giant case of stuff sometimes. And I definitely don't want to go to Costco. My son told me there was just like gigantic lines at Costco. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm going to start wearing a mask. And I just think that that'll make me feel a little bit more, you know, more secure, more better, out and about, you know. Are you guys wearing masks? I've seen a bunch of people. That's what I was saying, is I saw a bunch of people wearing them. It's kind of funny though when you see somebody wearing a mask and they're in their car all by themselves. It's like, what are you doing? Anyway, or just, you know, people just walking down the sidewalk or something, like all by themselves and they're wearing a mask. But I suppose once you get it on, it's like, what's the point? You might as well just leave it on, right? No sense taking it off and on. Let's put this, yeah, I'm just going to take this little piece right there. And then maybe I'll do just a little bit of stamping on these with some of those little stencil numbers, you know. Whoops. So yeah, so that's basically what I'm talking about. That's what I want to do. I want to do like a bunch of those, just like this, and then cut them down and make them into tag shapes. So yeah, so rinse, repeat, or whatever. Oh, there's something kind of cool. Some text. Yeah, I'm trying not to use, I thought it would be neat to just make these out of all like book text and stuff, typed text rather than handwritten. Is that still text if it's handwritten? Anyway. Oh boy. This one can go down here. This paper has such a neat texture. It's very similar to the straw paper that Rachel sells in her shop, Rachel Roxy Creations. It's real similar to that, although it's a different color. Do any of you guys eat popcorn with brewer's yeast on it? I'm telling you, I have eaten popcorn with brewer's yeast on it since I was a little kid. I don't even know where it started or who turned me on to it in the beginning of life, but I can't eat popcorn without brewer's yeast. Like I even take it to the movie theater and put it on my popcorn at the movies. But anyways, I'm out of brewer's yeast. It's really hard to say that. And the only place that I can get it is the kind that I like is at, I'm just rambling, is at Fred Meyer in their bulk foods. And I don't like that page. And I don't want to go in there either. There's too many people in there all the time. Anyway, so I ordered some on Amazon. We'll see. Because there's certain kinds that I don't like. Like the flakes aren't good because they don't stick to the popcorn right. Has to be a certain kind. And it's not baking yeast. It's a different yeast. It's like nutritional yeast is what they call it usually. Anyways, if you've never tried it, try it sometime. It's really, really, really good. Oh man, I like that side too. Actually, you know what? I like that side better. Yeah, you should try it sometime. Just a very, very little amount. Like, say like on a whole big bowl of popcorn, maybe like a tablespoon of brewer's yeast just sprinkled over it. And then toss it with butter and salt. Oh my God, it's so good. And it's really good for you. Brewer's yeast is amazingly good for you. If you ever look at the like nutritional information on brewer's yeast, see how hard that is to say on a label? It has like every single vitamin and mineral and nutrient on the planet in it. And it's really good for women that are lactating and that kind of thing. Anyway, so, and it's also good for your immune system. Any kind of vitamin supplements are good for your immune system, I think. But I'm not a doctor, so anyway, brewer's yeast. We also, what's the other weird thing that we do in my family? We also eat macaroni and cheese with ketchup on it. And, and whenever I have grilled cheese, I love grilled cheese sandwiches with sharp cheddar and on sourdough. I love the tartness, like the tanginess. And I always dip it in yellow mustard. Does anybody else do that? Leave me a comment and tell me like what your weird food thing is. If you have a weird food thing that you think is weird or that other people think is weird, but that you think is delicious. I'm just curious. I messed that one up. I just want it to fit right there. Oh, wait. Maybe I'll use that side. I actually like that large text better. Yeah, what else do we eat? That's weird in my family. I used to be the queen of finding something to eat in the kitchen when there was no food. Like, you know, when I was a teenager, when I was a kid. And it used to just drive my brother crazy because I could always find something to eat after school. Like I could make a snack with something. And he was like the most unimaginative person when it came to the kitchen. And I mean, I would always find something delicious. And usually it had something to do with top ramen. and cheese. Okay, so there's another one. So see what I mean? Like, this is so super relaxing. Like, I could just literally do this all night and just make tons and tons and tons of basically tag bases is what I guess this is. I think what I'll do is add, you know, I'll cut them into tag shapes and stuff, but I will add like a reinforcer, and then, you know, maybe even do some stitching around the border or something like that. But, yeah, maybe ink the edges or something. But that's basically all I'm doing. I don't know how I got off on that weird food thing, but you know, I used to work in a call center a long time ago. Seems like a long time ago now. I've worked in a few different call centers, but I used to work for Sears, selling service contracts over the phone. And then I worked for Comcast for a few years. And so I'm kind of used to just being able to talk about just about anything, you know, with anybody. And I always thought, you know, I don't think I could have done that job if I couldn't, you know, just at least have one decent conversation with somebody every day. Like, I don't know, my supervisors would always, you know, they always want you to take more calls. Like, you know, you're screwing around, take more calls. And I was always just like, I would sit there and literally talk to somebody for like an hour, even if they didn't buy anything. I don't know. I just liked being able to connect with somebody every day. It was just nice. It made the job bearable, you know. And it was better than working like in retail, I thought, because like you don't get you may get attitude from people. Like, you definitely get attitude, but if you're only getting their attitude over the phone, it's way different than attitude in person. Attitude in person is way worse because you get all the body language and the facial expression and, you know, so yeah. Because I always did like almost like, well, I did actually work in retention at Comcast. So that was a given that I was going to get angry people, but and then a lot of the people, the customers that I called when I worked for Sears, they were customers who had just had something fixed in the repair department, you know. And so, you know, I was always calling them to sell them a service contract on something that was already getting fixed, to let them know that, you know, now that it's fixed, we can sell you a service agreement on it so that you won't have to pay for that repair next time. And oh my God, sometimes they would just be super mad. Anyways, I was always pretty good at diffusing that, you know. Just talk to people like, I always tried to pretend like I was talking to somebody in my family, or like it was my mom or something, you know. And like I was trying to talk my mom into something, because I was always really good at doing that. Anyway, I'm sure most of you guys have probably turned the turned the sound off by now. So you'll see, like, I had an issue with that paper tearing. So if I feel like that's going to happen again, I just go ahead and add the glue onto the base instead of on the paper, which is another reason why I like to use baby wipes, because I wipe up that excess glue. And then I want a piece of this this textbook down here in the corner. Yeah, that got kind of goopy, didn't it? Okay, so here's another thing, guys. I ordered, and I will let you know what I think, but I can't remember who it was that I saw using the Dick Blick glue sticks. They're white glue sticks. But I was intrigued when I saw it because I never even thought of Dick Blick for glue sticks. And I mean, I bought glue from them before, but I never thought about glue sticks. I don't know why. Anyway, so they have a price break for the large size ones. I think they're the same size as this. These are about $1 a piece. But I think they have I think the price break is at $24 on Blick Art Supplies for their white glue sticks, and it brings them down to about 75 cents a piece. So I ordered, I think, 30 of them because I go through a lot of glue sticks. So I will let you know what I think about them. Anyway, so I'm just going to continue doing this for quite a while. I will probably wind up doing, I don't know, maybe a dozen of these, you know, because I've got 18 journals that I need to put tags in. And if I'm already doing this, I might as well just, you know, go for it and then make extra so I have them for future journals. And that's what I do a lot of the time. That's how I wound up with that whole drawer full of, you know, stuff that I can fill journals with. And I usually wind up using that drawer when I do like larger journals, like that last series that I did. I wind up using a lot of stuff out of that stash of kind of like pre-made tags and stuff. I want to make some more pockets though. I want to do some, I want to use a lot of this, these French book pages to make pockets and envelopes and stuff. I've sort of gotten away from doing that lately. And so I've been going and watching a lot of videos, and a lot of the videos, the new channels that are in that list from the playing card video. And then also the list of new channels is in my, well, I don't know if they're new channels, but they're, you know, they're smaller channels, I guess. I'm a small channel, but anyway, I've been trying to watch some of those videos and stuff. And so if you do get a chance to watch any of those, you know, videos from the playing card video, that was the one that I did the giveaway on. If you go watch any of their videos, leave them a comment and just let them know that, you know, that we're supporting them and that kind of stuff, just so they know. Because sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes I'll see people leave, you know, like I'll see my subscriber count kind of jump. And I always think, I wonder if somebody, you know, mentioned it or something. And it's always nice to know where that comes from so that you can, you know, kind of like reciprocate or whatever. And I'm not saying that's why I don't want you to say, oh, I heard about you on Jessica's channel. I just want you to know, you know, just let them know that, you know, you're there to support them and, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, it's nice to get comments, especially, you know, when you're a smaller channel. So anyways, you know what I'm saying. Okay, guys, I'm going to keep working on these. And like I said, I'll cut them down into just kind of random sizes, and then do some stitching and stuff on them. I don't know if I'll add toppers. I might just add like a simple cotton string or, you know, something like that. But maybe a label, you know, maybe a little bit of stamping. So what I'll do is I'll finish doing all of these that I want to do, and then kind of work down my pile. And then I'll come back and I will do another video, you know, showing how I'm going to cut these up and what my plans are from there. So, okay. And maybe we'll finish up, you know, some of those journals so I can get them listed. Okay. All right, guys. Love you. Thanks for listening. See you soon. Okay. Bye for now.